Good afternoon, everyone. Today, in this session, we are going to discuss some of the tools of Photoshop. As we have discussed in our previous sessions, Photoshop is basically what? It is an authoring tool for multimedia, for making multimedia files. So, we can easily modify, edit our images when we are working with Photoshop. It provides us with certain inbuilt tools, and every tool having certain properties along with it, which helps us to modify, to edit our image, or we can club two or more of the images by using these tools. So actually, what do you mean by Adobe Photoshop? As I have told you, Adobe Photoshop is our authoring tool, which is well known and the mostly used for image editing software in the world. And Photoshop has developed by Adobe Corporation, and company has a known name in the field of drawing in imaging softwares. The other popular softwares from Adobe are Acrobat, PageMaker, and Illustrators. The image editing softwares are the softwares that are used to create, edit, and redesign the image. So you can create new image, edit existing images, and change the format of the images. And Photoshop allow us to merge various images to create one image, and to change the color scheme of the image, to remove a particular part from the image, or to add some elements to existing images. So in today's session, we are going to discuss various tools that are provided by Photoshop. So the first tool we are having is the selection tool. Uh, we have done some activities based on selection tools as well in our uh, lab sessions. So we are very well versed with what actually selection tool is. So what do you mean by a selection tool? See, after you have opened a file in Photoshop, you can apply various commands on the image file. So the selection is first and most important step while working in the Photoshop. When you select an area of the image, or the commands are not applied on the selected area, Photoshop offers a variety of tools to select an area on the image. So you have to first select certain portion over the image, and then you can apply whatever modifications or changes you want to apply. So if you want to apply the modifications over the whole image, you can select the whole image, or if you want to modify a certain portion of image, you can select any definite portion over the image. So this way you can make certain additions or certain modifications over the image. And for that, Photoshop is provided us with three types of tools. These are considered as selection tools. Number one is marquee tool, then we have lasso tools, and then magic wand tools. So let's discuss one by one. First one we are having is marquee tool. So this is our marquee tool. What actually marquee tool means? Marquee tool is used to select square or rectangular area of a picture. Moreover, that it is provided us with four categories of marquee tool. The one is elliptical marquee tool, rectangular marquee tool, single row marquee tool, and single column marquee tool. So when we are talking about rectangular marquee tool, this marquee tool is used to select square or rectangular area in the picture as we have discussed. The flyout of this tool has four tools, and all the four are rectangular, elliptical, single row and single column marquee tools. And when we are talking about elliptical marquee tool, this marquee tool is used for circular or oval selections. And the third category of marquee tool we are having is single row marquee tool. That means the single row marquee tool is used to select a single row of pixels. So it will select a row of pixels. And when we are talking about single column marquee tool, this tool is used to select the single column of pixels. So the whole single column of pixels will be selected when we are using this particular tool. So we are having certain steps to select a particular area over the image. As in, we have to follow certain steps. We have to select the marquee tool first, or maybe the category of marquee tool that we are going to use, and we can select it from the provided toolbox, or you can also press capital M from the keyboard, and it will select the appropriate tool from the flyout that is provided over the toolbox. Then you can simply click and drag the mouse on the image, and if you want to add the selection to another selection on the image, either you can press shift from the keyboard and then click the add to selection from the option bar. So this way you can make the selections, and you can press Ctrl and D to deselect all the selected areas. So this is the selection first selection tool, that is marquee tool. The next selection tool we are having is lasso tool. So what is actually a lasso tool? It is again providing us the selection options, and you have experienced the marquee tool is used to create square or ellipse selections, and if you use the marquee tool only, you cannot select a portion of image with accuracy. So the backgrounds or the four colors will also be selected along, and if you make the accurate image selections, then you have to use the lasso tool. The lasso tool is used to make freehand and snap to selections in the image. These tools are needed when you need to select irregular shapes. There are three types of lasso tool we are having: lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool, and magnetic lasso tool. So what is lasso tool here is, a lasso tool is used to create irregular shaped selections, and it includes the lasso for freehand selections. Secondly, under lasso tool, we are having the second category of lasso tool, that is polygonal lasso tool. The polygonal lasso tool is used to make selections by drawing a series of straight lines to make a polygonal shape. So it is provided us with the pointers as well, which holds the selected line. The third category we are having is magnetic lasso tool. In this tool, you click within the image to start or begin creating your selections and drag the mouse, having released the button, and to create selection path. So you must have observed in our practical demonstrations, it provided us with small dots of magnetic dots which actually attracted toward the similar pixels, similar contrast of colors. So it automatically goes with selection and provided us with the pointers. So when you want to select a particular area with lasso tool, all you need to do is you just have to click over the lasso tool that is provided in the toolbox. You can go for any category, and the shortcut key to select the lasso tool is L. You have to press L in the keyboard and then click and drag the mouse on the image. You will have to close the beginning and ending point of your selections. The accuracy of the selection entirely depends on the mouse movements. So if you release the mouse before meeting the starting point, Photoshop will automatically close the curve. So it may select the whole area you want to select, or it will also select partially. And the functioning of shift and alt key is same as we have discussed in our sessions as well. If you want to remove some area of the selection, so either press alt key or click the button of subtract from selection on the option bar. So when you drag the area on this existing selection, it will be subtracting the selections. So this way you can make use of lasso tools. And when we are talking about a polygonal lasso or magnetic lasso, you have to click uh, on the border lines to generate the pointers. So this way you can have the selections. The lasso tool also provided you with very helpful options while we are working with lasso tools. So various options that comes in option bar when we are selecting the lasso tool are edge contrast. The other one we are having is width and the frequency. So what actually means by edge contrast? The edge contrast defines the sensitivity of lasso tool to the edges of the image. So you can enter any value between 1% to 100%. The higher the value detects only edge that contrasts sharply with their surroundings. A lower value detects lower contrast edges. So this way the edge contrast can be varying. Then we have the other option of width. Width means the width specify the width upon like up to the lasso will select the point from mouse pointer. Higher value of the width will select more pixels far from pointers. The third option provided by lasso tool is frequency, and you would have seen the lasso puts fastening points in the selection. सो जब भी हम स्पेशली पॉलीगनल या मैग्नेटिक लेसोस यूज करते हैं, उसमें जो पॉइंट्स आते हैं, लॉग पॉइंट्स आते हैं, वो पॉइंट्स कितनी फ्रीक्वेंसी पे जनरेट होंगे. अगर आपकी फ्रीक्वेंसी हाई है, दैट मीन्स पॉइंट्स जो है वो बहुत फास्ट फास्ट जनरेट होंगे. सो दिस यू ऑल्सो कैन कंट्रोल. These points are based on the geometry of the selections, and the frequency value specifies the fastness, that is how fast these points will be placed during the selection. So this way you can use of lasso tool. The other selection tool we are having is magic wand tool. Magic wand tool is the easiest and fastest selection tool of Photoshop. So this is quite wonderful tool that selects pixels based on their placement in the image. So it select the whole similar pixels at once. The magic wand tool selects the pixels on the basis of their color values. The magic wand reads the color value of the pixel where mouse has been clicked. So it then reads pixels with similar colors depending on tolerance value. The tolerance value here specifies the similarity that the tool will consider while selecting surrounding colors. So you can enter value between 0 to 255 in the options that are provided, but it will going to select all the similar valued pixels at once when you are clicking over the image. Next we are having is image editing tool. Under this we are having various tools for editing the image. That is, we are having clone stamp tool, then we have burn tool, afterwards sharpen tool, then we have smudge tool, dodge tool, and lastly we are having sponge tool. So these all tools are provided us with editing feature. They helps us to edit a particular image or modify a particular image. We can work over their presentations, their pixels and color values. So we can alter the color balance as well. So let's say if the image is in purely colored form, it can also provided us the option with which we can create or convert the image into black and white. So such provisions are also provided us. So let's see one by one all the tools here. Firstly, we are having clone tool, clone stamp tool. So next we are having clone stamp tool. So what actually is meant by clone stamp tool? What does it mean? Cloning means simply a duplicacy. So clone stamp tool operates like a brush tool, except that rather than selecting a color to paint with, you select a area to the image to duplicate or clone by alt click the area and you wish to duplicate. So जहाँ पे भी आपने एक डुप्लीकेसी जनरेट करनी है, जिस एरिया की डुप्लीकेसी आपने क्रिएट करनी है, उस इमेज का वो वाला एरिया आप सेलेक्ट करेंगे बाय प्रेसिंग ऑल्ट की. ऑल्ट की से वो एरिया सेलेक्ट हो जाएगा. अब उसको आप जहाँ पे भी अप्लाई करेंगे वहाँ उसकी एग्जैक्ट इमेज जो है वो बनती जाएगी. सो इट विल जनरेट अ क्लोन. So as you paint with the clone stamp tool, a crosshair passes over the area you have selected for reference. The size of the brush you select in the brushes palette determines the size or radius of the clone area, and this tool is an outstanding tool for retouching photographs. So this way, where you want to create certain kind of duplicacy or mirror imaging, so there you can make use of clone stamp tool. Next we have blur tool. So what is the purpose of blur tool? Blur tool is used to de-emphasize some part of image by softening the pixels. So it mixes the odd pixels in such a manner that they happen to be dissolved in the image and don't highlight. The main properties of blur tool are blending mode, strength, and use all layers. So here all these properties work in similar manner as they work with other tool. The blur tool is normally used to create mirror images and to make a normal image look like a HD image. So this is the main purpose of using blur tool. Then we are having sharpen tool. So what is the purpose of sharpen tool? The effect of sharpen tool is exactly opposite to the blur tool. There we are de-emphasizing the pixels, but here we are going to emphasize on the pixels. So the sharpen the in it basically sharpen the individual pixels to highlight them. When you use this tool, the contrast level of pixels is increased so that they could be highlighted. While working with blur or sharpen tool, you can press shift R to toggle between these two. So the sharpen tool is useful primarily for popping out, highlighting on shiny objects, or maybe to give important object a little more extra pop from your resample as image. So we just to highlight certain area, to highlight, to more emphasize over certain area of image, or maybe the whole image, you can use sharpen tool. Then we are having smudge tool. So what actually is the purpose of smudge tool? The action of smudge tool is similar to the effect that is generated when you drag your finger on a surface of wet paint. सो आपके पास कुछ वेट कलर्स हैं, वाटर कलर्स हैं, आप उन वाटर कलर्स में अपनी फिंगर घुमाएंगे, कैसा इफेक्ट आता है? सेम उसी तरह का ही इफेक्ट स्मज टूल से आता है। ये आपके सारे पिक्सल्स को लिक्विफाई करके उनको मिक्स कर सकता है, उनको मूव कर सकता है। So the tool will pick up some colors from the point where the dragging is started, and it will take it outwards the direction of the dragging. The smudge tool is situated in the same, you can find it in the toolbox. So the main properties provided by smudge tool here is strength, blending mode, and use of all layers and finger paint. These are the various properties that are provided by smudge tool. Afterwards, we have dodge tool. So what is the purpose of dodge tool? Dodge tool basically used to darken the specific area of the image by holding light to fall on these areas. So अगर कोई भी पिक्सल्स को आप डार्कन रिप्रेजेंट करना चाहते हैं, उस सिनेरियो में आप डॉज टूल यूज कर सकते हैं. So it works over the grayscale. In grayscale images, like where dodge tool is useful would be removing the darkness shadow from under a person's eye. So this way you can make use of dodge tool. Apart from this, we are having a burn tool. So what is the purpose of burn tool? It exactly operates in opposite to dodge tool. The dodge tool lightens the area of the image, but the burn tool darkens them. The burn tool is having similar properties of dodge tool. The properties are quite similar, but it actually darkens the specific area. So next we are having sponge tool. So what is the purpose of sponge tool? The sponge tool is basically used when the image is not dark enough. A sponge with a chemical is rub against the picture print to make it darker. So this is the actual purpose of sponge tool. It works like a sponge and it darkens the area. The sponge tool of Photoshop increase or decrease the color saturation of the image area where it is applied. So in grayscale image, this tool increases or decreases contrast by moving the grayscale level from or maybe toward the middle gray. So किसी भी एरिया को आपने डार्कन अप करना है या लाइटन अप करना है, कितना डार्क करना है कितना लाइट करना है, यू कैन चूज, वो आप वैल्यूज दे सकते हो. But it acts as a sponge and it pats over the image to darken or lighten up your image. So this way we can make use of these tools. So this is all for today's discussion. These are few editing and modifying selecting tools for Photoshop. I hope I have cleared at my part. Still, if anyone is having any kind of query, may ask the questions.